Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vigo and I'm a flight attendant for a major US airline. Today I'm going to be talking about how to survive flight attendant training. Today's video is going to be broken up into 3 parts. The first part is going to be taking care of things at home. The second is how to get prepared before you go to training. And then the third is going to be actually at training. Okay, so for the first part, we're going to be talking about taking care of things at home. The first tip that I have is definitely about saving up your money before you go. Some airlines provide paid training, but others definitely don't. And so my suggestion is just to try and save up as much money as you can before you go to training. The second one is making sure that your bills are on auto pay is definitely going to relieve a lot of that stress. You will have plenty to worry about while you're at training, and if bills don't have to be one of them, that's going to be great. The next thing is just making sure that you communicate with your support system. Talk to your family and friends and make sure that they know that this training is going to be intense. It's not going to be easy, and there's not going to be a whole lot of time for you to communicate with them. Between studying and classes, you're just going to have your hands full. When you are talking to your family, that you're making sure that they can take care of things for you while you're gone. It's not really an option to leave training, and you'll probably be there between a month, 2 months. The second section that I'm going to talk about is getting prepared to go to training. So this section is going to talk about things that you need to bring, buy, that whole mess of things. So the first thing is that you definitely need to buy some school supplies. Everybody is different in how they learn, and so getting the right things to set you up for success is going to be really important. You have to figure out what works best for you when it comes to studying. So what worked for me is I took a ton of notes while I was in class. Flashcards weren't really how I learned the best. I know a lot of people in my class use flashcards and they passed. Try to figure out what your learning style is and what works best for you when you're studying. I know for me, I'm an auditory learner, and so when people tell me things, like lecture really works out good for me, because when somebody tells me something, it's almost ingrained in my brain. But there's other people that learn by like touching, so like kinesthetic learners. Teaching, if you have the material and you teach it to somebody else, sometimes that's how people learn. The next thing is getting things that are comfortable, so like snacks. So for me, like I bought a lot of LaCroix so that I could drink that in class and at home. Making sure that you have like your favorite snack food, because there's not going to be a whole lot of options for you to go shopping, especially if you're going to training outside of your state and you're not going to have a car. Some of the comfort things that I brought is I brought my favorite pillow, and I also brought a picture of my boyfriend and my favorite blanket. So just making sure that you have some of those comforts from home with you, just because you're going to be gone for so long in this training. So after you get invited to go to class or go to training, you're going to receive a welcome packet, probably 2 or 3 weeks before you're supposed to be at training. Take advice from the packet. Make sure that you know that information front to back to sideways. You need to know all of that information in there, especially when it comes to the study material. I know for some airlines, they do like airline terms and airport codes. You have to know those things before you go to training. One of the other things that they're going to send you in the welcome packet is what you need to look like and what clothes that you need to wear to training. They're very strict. They will send you home because you don't have the right shirt, or your hair isn't in compliance, or you have piercings that they don't allow. So know your company's policies on their hair color, tattoos, even their nails, their makeup, jewelry. All of that plays into the image of the airline that they're trying to portray. And going back to studying what is in the packet, I guarantee you that you will be tested on the first or second day that you get there. I know for me, when we got there, the instructors, they introduced themselves and we kind of got to know each other a little bit, and then bam, we went right into testing. They tested about everything that was in that welcome packet. You also need to make sure that you bring enough clothes. Laundry, you're probably not going to be able to do a whole lot of laundry while you're there, and you're probably not going to even have time to do a lot of laundry while you're there. So making sure that you have enough clothes, and even those comfortable clothes, they're going to tell you to bring, like your ties and your button-up shirts and your skirts or dresses or whatever else they require, but making sure that you have like sweatpants and shorts for the times that you do get off. You also need to make sure that you get mentally prepared. This is not going to be easy. You really need to seriously think about if you can make it through this intensive training and if this is exactly what you want to do. And you have to remember that you are there for you and for you to get your wings. A lot of people go into training and they have this expectation of what it's going to be, and they've been to college and they think that that's how it's going to be, but it's really not. You're probably going to be in class from 8 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. It's going to be all day. My next tip is do not quit your job. See if your company offers a leave of absence or if you have vacation that you can use. People get sent home throughout the program all the time. And if you don't have anything to go home to, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So the last section that I'm going to talk about is when you're actually at training. Do not fall into the drama. Everybody, when you first get there, is going to be super nice and super supportive and really excited, but it's not always what it seems. People's true colors will show, and it's probably going to happen around that second week of training. And you will make friends, but you just have to remember that you're there for you and you're there to get your wings. And also, your friends could be there one day and do something and not be there the next. So you just have to keep that in mind. You're going to have to work with people in the sky, on the ground, that you might not particularly like, but we're all a team and we have to get the job done. But you have to put on that customer service face that you told them about in the interview, right? You have to do that. They are always watching you. You are under a microscope the entire time. They're going to see how you work together as a team, how you resolve conflict. That all plays into part of the training. It's not just what's on paper. Also, you really need to think about if you can make this career work. It's going to be totally different than probably any other job that you've had. You're going to have to work weekends. You're going to have to work holidays, birthdays, your birthday, those special events, especially while you're first starting out, you're probably not going to get them off. So if those things are really important to you, you might want to reconsider. And also thinking about if you can financially do it. Even just going to training for 3 weeks and not making any money, is that something that you can feasibly do? Do you have relationships at home that maybe aren't the strongest? Those are definitely going to be tested while you're gone for training. And even after training and you get your wings and you're going to be in your new career, those are things that you really have to think about and ask yourself if you can make this work. And if you're in the middle of training, just remember that you can always self-dismiss. If you get in there and they start showing you things that you don't like or you don't think you can make it work, they're not going to take it personally. You can always self-dismiss and go home. On the flip side of that, if this career is what you really want, you can make it work. A lot of people make it work and you can do it too. My next tip is that you need to do whatever you need to do to pass the tests. And I can't believe that I have to say this, but cheating is not an option. Your instructors have like a sixth sense when it comes to that. They will find out. I don't care how good you think you are at cheating, they will find out and you will be sent home immediately. If you are caught cheating, you will be sent home that day. So with that being said, you need to study, study, study. Do not underestimate yourself though. If you put in the effort, then you're going to get that effort back and it's going to show on the tests. You need to be confident, but don't be overconfident. Nobody likes a know-it-all. If your instructors offer a test review, I would suggest going to them. I personally did not need to go to the test reviews, but that's because I learn really well. I'm definitely an exception. I am not everybody, but you have to figure out what type of student you are, and if you need to go to those test reviews, absolutely go to those test reviews. My next tip is making sure that you actually get enough sleep. You're getting out of class at 6:30 at night, and you're going to want to study and you're going to want to eat dinner and hang out with people that you've met. Getting enough sleep is going to make sure that you retain that information that you learned that day. And if you wake up and go to class the next day, and you are tired and exhausted, you're just not going to test well. So do yourself a favor and definitely get enough sleep. My next tip is make sure that you are not late. Do not be late. If they tell you to be back at 11:42 from a break, you have to be back in that room before 11:42. They will send you home if you were late. Airlines operate on being on time because for every minute that they are late pushing back, they are losing money, and they're going to expect the same from you. And with being late, excuses are not tolerated. There's no excuse for being late. They will not accept any excuses for being late. My next tip is making sure that you're flexible. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a schedule that outlines when your tests are, when your homework is due, what you're supposed to do that day. But for me, like, our test was supposed to be on a Saturday, and they moved it up to a Friday, and they gave us one less day to study for that test. You have to be flexible, and the airline expects you to be flexible also. My next tip is just to step out of your comfort zone. You don't know any of the people normally that you're in this class with, so go out there and make sure that if the instructors ask for volunteers to do something, just do it. That's going to show them that you are willing to do what it takes to pass the class. It's going to show them your true personality, and just make sure that you step out of your comfort zone. It's a new career, it's a new experience. You just have to step out of your comfort zone. And you're going to have to get used to being in the public's eyes with everybody watching you. When you're on the aircraft and there's 200 plus people looking at you, you have to be comfortable with that. And also make sure that you network. If there's guest speakers that come in to talk to you, introduce yourself. You never know where they're going to be in a year, and you might need them or how they can help you in the future. Just introduce yourself to everybody that comes in to talk. My next tip is just to trust the process. They teach in a very stringent way, and the way that they teach builds on what they taught yesterday. Do not ask hypothetical questions. Don't jump ahead. You're only going to stress yourself out if you jump ahead of what they're teaching that day. Just focus on what they're teaching you in that particular day and make sure that you know that information. And my last tip is just to be yourself. They train people all year round. That's pretty much what these instructors do, is just train people, and they want to get to know you, and they want to see your personality. There's a reason that they picked you to come to training, and they want to see that personality and how that develops throughout the training and with other people and how you work with other people. They notice something in you at the interview, and they want you to show that off. Thanks everybody for watching my video today. I hope it helps while you're preparing to go to training, or if you're already in training. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom, and I'll see you next time.